This is one of those programs that you gonna want to sit there and you're gonna want to call someone because we are going down one of those roads that I don't think in the history of the country that someone has sat with a differently abled person who has been financially and sexually abused. Horrid, and horrifying experiences of this beautiful young lady. Her name is Kishia Ro. We're going to hear her story. We are focusing on the pain and the healing of the differently abled because it is a community of people that we subconsciously, unconsciously, and sometimes deliberately abuse. They're vulnerable. Everyone is created in the image of God. Kishia Ro and everyone who is differently able has the DNA of God that can become great. But we require an environment of acceptance. We require an environment of support. We require an environment that will reduce the vulnerability. But let's talk to her and see what it is like to live as a differently abled person. Please meet Kishia Ro. How are you? I love you.
I am doing well, Mom. And it's so nice to be on the show.
Wonderful. Listen, what does this mean to you being on the show? Have you been interviewed to tell your story before?
Well, Mom, I've never gotten the opportunity to do it, but I've reached the point in my life whereby I didn't really care about what persons had to say on the whole about persons with a disability because I think that they are the most sweetest and the most God-given creature. And, I don't feel like persons with a disability would have and should have been treated that way or is treated that way on a regular basis. We have a lot of things going on in the Bahamas, but persons with a disability have never, ever came across, those type of abusements ever.
You an amputee. Were you born this way?
No, my mom. I've had osteogenic sarcoma, that was the type of bone cancer in 1993. Then in 2000, I had a major stroke. But thankfully, God, I'm still alive, still doing what I'm doing on a regular basis. I went back to school, furthered my education down at BTVI, where I took up office assistant and took up everything surrounding office assistant. So basically, I all around interior.
So how old were you when you...
And exterior.
Okay, great. But how old were you when you became differently able?
I was at the age of 8 years of age.
You were 8. Do you remember when you were as what we considered normal and when you became differently able? What was life like before and what is life like now?
Well, growing up as a person who was 8 years of age, playing and laughing and just trying to enjoy life. It was, it was a joy to see me just growing up and just trying to fit in the crowd, like, the elderly persons used to say. But then yet still again, like I said, I haven't had an easy road after the fact that my leg has been amputated. It was a struggle, challenges all around me from every sector. And it was very, 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 very rough.
We're going to talk about how very rough it was. Ahmad, we're really talking to Ms. Roll because there is a symposium that the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting is sponsored along with Zonta, who's the real lead NGO, who's looking to fight and bring the awareness, the visibility that is needed, because you can only act on what you know. And we want to just listen into them for a moment before we come back to Ms. Kishia Ro to see what is motivating them to really fight it. They've been with this 16 days of activism for many, many years now. And let's see what is being done to help minimize and reduce the pain that Kishia Ro and all who are in this differently abled community. And when we come back, we're going to talk more specifically about the suffering in tangible ways.
Persons with disabilities are 5 times more likely individuals to experience domestic violence at a 5 times higher rate than those without disabilities. 1 in 4 male victims of sexual violence who had a disability at the time of the incident. 39% female victims of rape who had a disability at the time of the rape. 2.5 times more likely, disabled people are more likely to experience violent victimization compared to non-disabled people. 7 times more likely, intellectually, disabled people are more likely to experience sexual assault. 95% of people with developmental disabilities will experience sexual abuse in their lifetime. 49% will experience abuse at least 10 times. These statistics highlight the urgent need for increased awareness, support, and accessibility for individuals with disabilities who experience violence.
Zonta International stance is a firm no to violence against women and girls, viewing it as a major barrier to gender equality, focusing on ending gender-based violence through awareness, education, policy change, empowering survivors, working closely with clubs, partners, male allies to challenge the harmful norms, support victims, and build safer, more equitable communities. And we do this through advocacy and awareness, empowerment, education, male allyship, systematic change, various actions and campaigns such as our 16 days of activism, and Zonta Says No. Zonta International sees ending violence against women and girls as fundamental to achieving a world where everyone can thrive as equals. Our goal is to build a better world for women and girls.
You can now stay in tune with all things social services on any one of our social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, missed any of our Taking Social Services to the People programs? No worries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Bahamas Heartbeat, to watch all of our programs and special content. Social Services is the heartbeat of the nation, taking our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
The Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting is partnering with the Bahamas Christian Council to help build stronger Bahamian families.
I believe that our ultimate experience in living begins with God and family.
Our purpose is to facilitate, guide, inspire, and equip you to have a better life.
And a strong family foundation begins with each of us trying to become better individuals.
Let's unite for a stronger Bahamas.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the heartbeat of the nation, leading Bahamians from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
We're back with Kishia Ro, an amputee. It all happened for her at age 8. And you would have heard in the first segment, this life as a differently abled person, there is a lot of suffering. Tell us about this suffering.
Well, first of all, we talked about getting into school. It wasn't that easy for me to get into school. That's number one. Number two, when you get into school, then there's a whole new network or new chapter whereby you have persons calling you names from air to air. It wasn't that great of an experience.
Calling your names from air to air, like what?
Big Bird, one leg on up for two leg, calling me this horrific name, like I wasn't anyone that existed on the earth. But, you know, I asked God for guidance and protection. I asked him to ground me, make me, you know, very whole, and help me to go to school, learn my lesson like my mother had told me, and never give up. The challenge was mine, and the opportunity was mine. So definitely I had to go towards whatever it was that I want to, and I would have achieved at that particular school, which was Carlton Francis. It wasn't senior high, it was Carlton Francis Primary School.
Sounds like you went there with a lot of courage.
Mama, I went there with motivation. I went there with enthusiasm. I went there with boldness. I went there with a chance never to give up, even though I know I faced the uttermost challenges.
But when your students, your student colleagues, saw you with that motivated spirit, determined to win, did their attitudes change towards you? How did you manage that in your mental capacity to say that I will and I can?
I said the sky is the limit. And beyond the sky, it was just the beyond wherever I was taken and ought to be at that point in time. And I said, one thing I have in my mind, I came to do a work, and I came to do exactly what it is that my mother had told me. Go to school, learn your lesson, come out, be on top, and nobody can say anything to you at the ending part of the day.
Did you come out on top in school?
Mom, I came out with a 3.0.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Your mother's still alive?
Yes, ma'am, she is, and it was only my mommy then, and it's still only here now. Now, she had raised 4 girls, but it wasn't easy.
Where was your father?
Easy. Mom, it wasn't easy.
Where was your father?
The father was nowhere in existence.
How did that affect you and your other siblings?
That didn't affect me because my mother said that, you know, if you just do as I tell you to do, then we shouldn't have a problem.
That's what we're talking about, unconditional love. But you had your mother. It's an attitude that she has, and we celebrate you, Mommy, what your mommy name is, so the Bahamas can know how great she is. You have a great mother.
My mother's name is Ella Leona Murphy.
Ella Leona Murphy. We honor you, we celebrate you, because sometimes what people do when there's not an ideal situation, we see it all the time in social services, people abandon those who they're responsible for. But this, Miss Murphy, kept on, and you went to 3-point average. But life happened when you came out of school, and you were financially abused, physically abused. Speak to your first abuse, your sexual abuse.
Well, Mom, I went and I thought about getting myself in relationship with this particular individual. You know, having not to have a boyfriend at this time, it wasn't that easy for me to,
Right.
But boy, Mommy told me, you ain't having a boyfriend until you get out of my way.
Right.
Yeah,
So your mommy had standards, values.
yeah. She telling you, she ain't think you ready yet. So when I was at the age of 18, then that's when it all began. I got myself employed. After the fact that I got myself employed, I was at Solomon Mines. That was something trading at the time. And man, it's this crazy boy. He always coming on me playing around and, trying to see how I doing and all this thing like that. Well, come to find out, me and him finally getting gooch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he swept you off your feet. Eh?
Man, look here, he might have seen me on my feet. He's flicking. What?
Wait.
But as a matter of fact, let me tell you, it wasn't easy because when you get yourself in these funny relationships, you then, begin to get a lot of feedback as to getting yourself involved, not only in the relationship, but getting adapt to what's going on in society. Well, he started beating and abusing me. He started, hitting me in my stomach. He started to do all these other things to me. He started to he punched me even at one time. And, I just wasn't feeling good at that point in time because I knew that I eventually got what I was looking for.
Why you say you were looking for it, and he punched you, he kicked you. What do you think is one of the most egregious things he did? What is the most horrifying, painful thing that he did to you when he was physically abusing you?
When he actually told me to lay in the bed, and he told me what he was gonna do to me. And he hold, but
What does that mean?
he just did it like this.
Did what? Is that his fingers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that what he would do to me if I didn't give him what he wanted.
Was that sex?
Yeah. I gave it to him, and after the fact that I I gave up myself.
Were you a virgin at that point? Did you give him your virginity?
But, I have to let bygones be bygones because after I did that, then, I was like, yeah, mommy, I need to talk to you, mommy. I have to talk to someone. I don't feel so good. That's when I found out that I was a couple of weeks pregnant.
How did that affect you emotionally? What did that do to you emotionally, psychologically, mentally? What?
That means a lot to me.
Yes, what that meant.
That meant that I could have actually had a baby. You know what it is to have a child, and then come to find out that is your first and your last child you will ever have. Because they said that down at the hospital, they told me only one time you're allowed to have a specific,
That's if did you have a hysterectomy or?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so once you clear out your womb, you can't have children anymore.
Yes. So that, in a way, that was so beautiful to me. It's like,
What was beautiful?
like just having to feel and to know that,
You could have a child.
yes,
So how did that affect you when you lost that child?
man, I almost went ballistic. I almost went ballistic because I knew that I couldn't have another child. I was bleeding from ear to ear. And I'm not talking about the period just coming down just for the 5-day program, It was because I was on a pill called Coumadin. Coumadin is nothing to play with. Coumadin will cause you bleed and bleed like never before. Coumadin is the type of pills that will kill you.
So you were taking it?
I was taking that.
Who told you to take that?
It was prescribed for me. It was prescribed for me.
Do you think that you were sexually abused, or was that your consensual decision between you and your former boyfriend? Do you feel that you were just physically abused but sexually consensual? Or do you feel that you were both physically abused, off camera you said he even took your face and rubbed it up against a wall?
Yeah.
So what categories are you considering abuse for you?
Well, I'm considering like all of the abuse was, what was taking place at that time.
Was abuse because he put his finger to your head. So you felt that was against your will.
Yes. And, I didn't want to. So I just did as he said because I knew what type of person he was.
Yeah, you talked about him out doing funny business. When did you realize that he was doing funny business in your relationship? When were the danger signs ringing in your mind that this is a dangerous man?
Boy. When he told me his dad was a drug dealer, he told me, He told me a lot of things in return, but I prefer to leave that undiscovered because you know what we all do know what kind of pathway that is when he talks about him doing these particular.
So he was involved with drugs. He took after his daddy.
Well, I wouldn't. He probably might have took after his father, but that's undisclosed. Let's leave it just like that.
We'll leave it just like that. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the financial abuse that you are fighting and battling even today. And, you know, at the end of the program, we just really want to, in these segments, look at just some hard facts of what a Kishia Ro has to live with, and God knows what everybody else has to live with. But how are we going to change and transform our thinking, our attitudes towards one another, to just respect one another and be repelled about abuse? And it's going to take you and I. Taking social services to the people continues in a moment.
Have you heard about the Promise Unit? The Department of Social Services provides food assistance, housing assistance, uniform assistance, burial assistance, and financial assistance. Promise makes it easy. You can log on via cell phone, your computer, or your tablet. Sign up today at promise.gov.bs. Once you've registered and created a profile, you can call the Promise Customer Contact Center and speak with someone about any inquiries at 1-242-4-PROMISE. That's 242-477-6647.
All kind of cars in the parking lot. You ain't even know where to park. Don't park on the gas. Yo, man, you can't park on the gas. We ain't gonna be that long. What's going on, dog? Go get one of these three. My bad, big bro. Give me right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
You can now stay in tune with all things social services on any one of our social media platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, missed any of our Taking Social Services to the People programs? No worries. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Bahamas Heartbeat, to watch all of our programs and special content. Social Services is the heartbeat of the nation, taking our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.
You know, one of the things that I have over the years, and this view and perspective and passion is becoming stronger and stronger. Just recently, the Prime Minister talked about their men in the Bahamas. The men are in crisis. And I absolutely agree, because even as Kishia Ro mentioned, it sounds like she doesn't know her father. And that's the story of so many families in the country. 71%, no fathers in sight. That isn't good for stability. But while we talk about that, it's equally important to talk about the men who are there. I'm going to introduce you to a young man. We're going to call him Mr. Ranfurly. Sounds like a funny name, eh? No, not really. But anyhow, let's call him Mr. Ranfurly, because we're not going to disclose his identity. But he's among the heroes among men. Miss Rowell says that he is the babysitter. He is like a protector, and that's what a man is, you know. Supposed to be a provider, a protector, somebody who preserves life. And this is what he has been doing. But just before I introduce you to Mr. Ranfurly, I want to just quote from the symposium that the minister spoke to the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting on the occasion of the Zonta Club of New Providence. You just heard from Janet McKenzie earlier, and the National Commission of Persons with Disabilities Symposium. He basically talked about why it is important for visibility. And hence, here we are, dealing with, in a very visible and vocal way, an issue that apparently is commonplace, and this is research-based, in the differently able community. He said, visibility is not optional. It is essential. Visibility is protection. Visibility is power. Visibility is policy. And so, Mr. Ranfurly, your experience with taking care, being that protector, being that guide for those who seek to abuse Miss Kishia Ro, what has that been like for you?
That's a situation within itself, because it's a situation within itself in the Bahamas and in Nassau, Bahamas, actually, because that's where we is. It's a complicated situation, and other people is not gonna understand if they're not in the situation. I mean, personally, I never been in a handicapped situation, but like mentally and spiritually, this is how it feels. It feels like if I hold your shoulder and avoid you from standing up, you know, when I move my hand, you can move. But imagine if you're sitting there and you can't move. That's how you can decipher with a handicapped person. You have the ability to move, you know you can move, but you get shackled to this chair. So you know when these shackles come off, your mind set to get up and move. You know you can move, so you're not worried about it, but you just want in the back of your mind, in your mindset, and it'll be back to you, it would be to the back of your mind because of the fact, you know, once these cuffs come off and they detach you, you could get up and physically walk and do things for yourself, go to the bathroom or whatever. But long story short, persons in the Bahamas, they handle people physical with less respect. So imagine if a person who is unphysical, and because they're in a situation, they handle them any type of way. But you may be in a chair temporarily and remember, or you might forget, because most people do forget and tell somebody you have to refresh and remind them. Remember when you was physical the other day? Now look at you. So the main thing is you have to humble yourself in all situations.
What motivates you to?
What motivates me? All right, me as a person with 2 hands, full 2 foot, a normal person, get a lot of mishandling, mistreatment, a lot of disrespect from people, business, and however. But it ain't no big issue for me. I defend myself as best as I could. I defend for her. And then being in a situation for the last almost 5 years, I took her on. I knew her as a friend. And, you know, I took her on and have her close to me like that because she needed help. And I understand when somebody could help you, they choose not to help you. But I take time out to help her because she can't do much for herself. She ain't number one. She didn't have a father. So she don't know what a man love and touch is to show. And some people react when they do get the person to show them what love is. They react on the person or they act different to that towards the person. So I experienced a lot of that 1 or 2 times with her and 1 or 2 other person, but mostly I've been taking care of her and helping her hand in hand and work around my personal schedule and what's not like that. Coming sometimes to places to get help for persons like her. It's a bunch of run around. It don't make no sense. They don't feel like it's that. You know, I'm not here to try to gain no status off her. I's an eagle and I's an alpha male, not a regular male, just so we can get that straight. And an alpha is a provider, and a provision may not bring your salary to give to a female on Friday. A provider is when you're in a situation and a provider could provide resilience and add resilience to you, like using common sense, using ideas, how you can invest into this, how you can invest into that. You can buy this, you don't have to work because you're in physical. It's like what I always try to show up and teach you. You can buy this product, that product, and then post it online and then let people come to you and let them know it's only a pickup order only. When they realize you handicap, when they see pickup, because they can purchase the item times one or times, more than times one, they look at to understand why you have only pickup on the order. So I try to add these things and ideas and share ideas with her, like I share ideas with other people and add resilience to what they doing as far as business. But, it's been tough. But you have to keep going and going and keep
How has it been tough? And tell me, how has she been financially abused?
It's financially abused because, I protect her, I look out for her, I'll rent a place for her. It goes to my name. And then I have to be responsible because somebody has to take up the place, take care of the place. When you pay first class security, they really want to know who can take care of the place and who can clean it because she really can't do much for herself, as you can see. People see the situation, but they see what they want to see. And they do what they want to do. But until they end up in the chair or like that, then they want somebody to have mercy on them now. They forget about 2 days or 2 years ago when they was like this or like that. So now you have to put yourself in a situation and just think about it for a minute. Most persons don't do that. But, I've been taken care of in the best of my ability and more, and I've been having friends and whoever could have support her movement being handicapped. Now, the only thing I could have do was make her life much comfortable and transport her, picking up and put her on a platform where everything she could have all amenities for somebody like her and make it comfortable as possible. I would wish for her leg to grow back, but that can't happen. I'll be exaggerating if I on that run. But back to normal, just saying that, they need to take more consideration and understanding. It's a big responsibility. It's more than a responsibility. It's a lot. I only could say so much.
Well, I honor you, but just before we go back to Ms. Ro, give me an example of financial abuse.
Financial abuse is like, a few times she rented 1 or 2 places and people see she's handicapped and whatnot like that. They trying to play all type of games, stealing the money, you're trying to steal the money, not fixing the place. Claims they gonna fix the place never get fixed. One time she never get to move in the place. We had to put this guy in court and then the judge put the order on him. That still wasn't fully 100% completed, but it was 95% completed. And lately we ran into another situation, whereas this other person, she paid and was not like that to move into a place, and they should have a ramp for her to get in the house. Nothing happening. This guy has so much stories. It's unbelievable.
So they take the money from her and misappropriate it, really. They take it to fix the ramp and they don't.
He never did anything.
He never did anything.
He never did nothing. He talked to me about tiles and this and that. When he walked in the place and showed me the place a few weeks ago, I didn't see nothing where it needed tiles. That was never the issue. Everything was in there like how it's supposed to be. The place was pleasing on a level because it was nice. I know nice things, but I see it. But the principle is he just never did anything. He just keep giving stories and excuses and avoiding. We can sit down and conversate about how we can move forward and moving into place. And every time I try to negotiate with him, look, I have a deadline and this lady have to move. She outside. You can't handle it like that. Let's move forward. If you didn't do this, let's do that, and let's get to that later. And if you need the help, I could get people to come and do this. I can get people who could work much even reasonable to get done what needs to be done. You keep straying and refraining from the point of moving into place, and you hold the fund. So what you have a hold up, and then it hold me up because I'm responsible at the end of the day, and I accountable.
Well, I want to commend you. I honor you. And, the Bahamas, the people of the Bahamas historically, traditionally, are people who looked out for one another. We have to, put a coup on this selfish behavior that is becoming too commonplace, and it's quite frankly very dishonest. But just before we go to our final segment, and we'll meet the Deputy General Manager for the National Commission of Persons with Disabilities, and we also going to hear very briefly from the new and recently appointed Chairman, Dr. Anthony Hamilton. Ms. Roll, you were motivated in high school. You made your 3.0. Real life came. You had one boyfriend. He sexually and physically abused you. And then you have people taking advantage of you financially. How's this affecting you? And what is it that you want the Bahamas and the world to know? Right now, I'm asking you to speak for yourself, but also for the differently abled who can't be here right now, but you are their voice for the moment. What would you say to the people of the Bahamas?
Well, I would say, it doesn't pay its best to do, like those, things, have a boyfriend and you're getting beaten or mistreated or abused in all sorts of ways. You know, those ones that mistreat you. But in actuality, I would like the Bahamas to understand we as persons with a disability are we can be the most sweetest individuals there is on this whole entire planet. And don't ever underestimate us because they don't know what we are here to accomplish as being persons with a disability. And I'd like the whole entire Bahamas to understand we as persons with a disability makes up the archipelago of the whole entire universe.
You're very, I gotta tell you, you're very articulate. I mean, you went right into universe. Look, absolutely. So you thrive to go the extra mile, and you were very articulate. And are you effective on the job when you worked?
Mama, I tell you, I gave it my all and my all. I gave it my all and endeavor. Because I don't know who am I going to meet on the other end of the stick, or who am I going to meet on the other side of the computer.
You computer literate?
Oh, I'm very much computer literate. All of us persons with a disability can be that way. As long as you put your mind to it. It's like persons don't understand. If you can put your mind to do something, you will do it, whether you like it or you like it not.
How do you feel about the commission, the National Commission of Persons with Disabilities and Zonta reaching out and helping the differently abled people?
I feel like it's a great move, because most persons with a disability, they're treated, it's like some of us, if they're not left with the access of their parents, say their parents die and they're not left with the things that they do have. Some of us actually perish. Go on the street like we're crazy, begging others. I do know of an individual, I would see him begging, and I would, and this is a person with a disability. Never look down on a person with a disability, mind you. But that's because his parents didn't leave him or didn't left him very well established.
You know, you are just an oracle of wisdom. And I could sit here and talk to you for another hour, but we are out of time, and we're going to have one more segment, and we're going to speak to someone else who is in a very senior executive position at the Ministry of Social Services Information. He is an amputee. We're going to wrap it up with Ms. Roll and Mr. Roberts taking social services to the people, all of the people, when we return.
From the Commission, we have in a central place with regard to the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, the acronym of HELP, H-E-E-L-P, and that's with emphasis. The idea of the HELP acronym is for the health, the economics, education, labor, and the people, with the undergirding fact of the matter that people are the most important assets and investments of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Persons with disabilities are special in that category as citizens and residents of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And therefore, the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities will lend every weight behind ensuring that we eradicate domestic violence and abuse with regard to persons with disabilities.
Strong family bonds provide a crucial support system, often filling the gaps that might otherwise lead to reliance on social assistance.
If we get the family structure support system right, you won't see adult children willingly putting their parents in senior citizens' homes. You won't see anyone putting children up for adoption. We should be the safety net for when the family begins to have some challenges.
Addressing the root causes of dependency is essential, as our goal is to shift the focus from merely providing aid to fostering self-reliance.
We must be prepared to move persons from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment. And I'm asking the public to join us on this journey.
This has been the Heartbeat Brief, an inside look at the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting.
Make the best of your time with Sunrise Time.
And welcome back to this final segment. You know, there are a couple differently able employees at the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, and they are very effective. Want you to meet Mr. Townsley Roberts, who is the Deputy Executive Secretary for the National Commission of Persons with Disabilities. And, you know, he's also an amputee. And I have to ask you, what is life like always being stared at? Do people feel sorry for you? Do they look at you through one eye? Do they withdraw? What's it like?
They do. Remember, I've been amputee since I was 5 years old. I was a month away from turning 6 when I lost my leg. So when I was a kid, it probably bothered me more than it does now. You mentioned in the segment earlier about visibility. So I understand from a person with disability review, and Kaylee will understand this because we talk with this in terms of persons with disability need to represent themselves. The more people see me, see Kaylee and other persons with disability, the more they probably get to understand what we go through and what the issues are and what may happen to them. Because we got to remember, if you live long enough, you will have a disability. That's just fact. You can walk out there right now and something happen. That's fact. You go to bed and wake up in the morning and you can't get out of bed. So the more visible I am, the more visible the National Commission with Disability is, the more visible social services, that's why your program exists. People understand you can live with a disability. You can live comfortably with a disability. You can dream and achieve those dreams. You can have the Bahamian dream, the house with a picket fence, the 2 children, the dog, and cat.
You have children?
I have 1 son.
A dog and a cat?
I have 1 son. No, I don't have a dog and a cat, though.
He's a good-looking little fella. I've seen him.
Yeah, 4 years old now.
And you seem to have a very good relationship with him.
Oh, yeah. He loves his daddy.
So what would you say to the people of the Bahamas who, by all accounts from those who live in your community of the differently abled, feel marginalized, scorned in some cases, beat down? What would you say? And that's the one question. And then the second part to that question is the commission being effective?
I'll answer the second part first. The commission is working hard, but we need help from the general public. See, people gotta understand. This isn't just persons with disabilities talking to themselves. This is us talking to everyone. Like I said before, anybody can end up with a disability. You're not just born disabled. You're going to become disabled. So we need the help. We need persons to buy in and understand what we're trying to do. We are trying to ensure public buildings are accessible. Why? Not just for those who are currently disabled, but because you may end up needing the same facilities. The same reasonable accommodations we're trying to make sure exists. It's not just for us who currently here, it's for anybody. You don't know what may happen, even if you have disability or your challenge is temporary. We want to make sure these things exist for everyone. They're marginalized. You've been talking about domestic violence. And we want people to understand that persons with disability go through the same situation. And the reality is...
They say that people with disability generally are more vulnerable than children.
They are most vulnerable, especially females with disability, because people think they're weaker. And they also understand that many of them trying to,
We need more laws. What are the changes we need?
I think I think we have a lot of laws. I think
enforcement.
We need enforcement, and we need to promote these things more. Because the reality is, many persons don't have an understanding of what persons with disability go through, what their lives are, unless they have a loved one that they're close to, or they themselves become disabled. They don't understand the realities of our lives.
We have to go, but one description. You don't understand, this is your word. Many people don't understand what our lives are like. No, we don't. Well, I do, I believe. I had a surgery over a year ago, and I had to go in a wheelchair to the airport. I couldn't walk. Oh my God. And so I was disabled for a moment. And so it is a very uncomfortable place to be in. But what would you say? I want both of you to respond before we go. What would you say to those who are permanently disabled?
I will say to them, life isn't over. Many persons get stuck in their minds thinking that my life is done, especially individuals who become disabled later in life. Mind you, they live a lot of their life already, but yet they tend to get depressed and go through these emotions where they think life is over. Children like Kaylee's and I, who were young when we lost our leg, we tend to rebound easier because we're looking forward. I would like people to realize, keep looking forward. They are the system of devices. There's help through social services. You have 18 departments there. Search out for the help. Search out for NGOs for disability that can help guide you. So there's help there. And the National Commission is there. You can reach out to us and we can help guide you through the system and through some of your issues.
Final words. Can I say I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you?
Oh, you have?
What's your final thought? What would you like the Bahamas to know?
Well, I can say this to you. To all persons who have a disability, just hold your head up high. Never give up, press on. Keep on doing exactly what it is that you ought to and you have to do to get where you want to be in this life.
Does she mean that? You see, she say that like little attitude, like little, listen to me. She is still, hey, that motivated one. And you, let me just before we go, I want you to have the last word. Where would you want to go in the future? Because you are talking about being motivated, to be determined to what you want to achieve. What do you want to achieve?
Well, I would like to achieve that one day I can be awarded that or granted the trip and opportunity to go over to the United States or to Canada so that I can finish off school into law, so that I can become an advocate, and not only an advocate, but to become a more experienced and qualified person that deals with persons with a disability in my shoes and on how they really feel on a regular basis.
You have a passport?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
I'm now 37.
Good. And you know what? You can do it. It's not just to say, if you believe it, you can achieve it. And listen, what excites me, she is not looking to be a permanent resident on the dependency line. She is determined to be self-sufficient and economically empowered. Let's push Kishia Ro. What are you going to do? Are you going to help her and others like her? Can we do that together? Let us help the differently able to succeed. It costs more to fail than it does to succeed. Let's lift the differently abled up. Let's lift each other up. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the heartbeat of the nation, where we move our clients from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment.